Okay, Mr. Mayor, whenever you're ready.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of Sugar Land City Council meeting for Tuesday, February the 2nd. In just a minute, we're going to have the prayer and the pledge by our newest council member, William Ferguson. Following that, we're going to have a recognition of a very special guest. Before we do that, I wanted to speak to the citizens of Sugar Land. At 7 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to open up the Smart Financial Center. It's going to be open for vaccines from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it'll continue through Saturday. That'll continue until we run out of vaccines. Right now we have about 21,000. I want to thank our partnership with Memorial Hermann, specifically Melisha Patel and her team, who are the ones that are going to make that possible. I'd also like to thank from our team Assistant City Manager Doug Brinkley and Pat Hughes, our Emergency Operations Manager. Our teams work tirelessly with them, also our partner Fort Bend County, in order to make this happen. I'd also like to recognize Chris Siebeniller with Houston Methodist Sugar Land. His team also is going to be opening. They're going to open on Friday, and the dates, the times that I have for that are Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and he'll be open through Sunday. Again, for both Smart Financial and Houston Methodist, you can apply in Houston Methodist on their website, for Smart Financial on Memorial Hermann or Fort Bend County website. And those hours of operation will actually continue until they run out of vaccines. I know in calls that Doug and I and Pat have been on with the Biden administration with the state of Texas, the quicker we can get those vaccines into people's arms, the quicker we can get additional vaccines here to help our public. To date, around 68,000 residents have been vaccinated in Fort Bend County out of 680-something thousand that are eligible, so about 10%. So we look forward to continuing to work with our partners in order to make sure that our citizens get their vaccine. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. William, are you ready?
Yes, I am, sir. Let's pray. Dear God, we come to you tonight to first thank you for this amazing city full of amazing people and amazing families. We know that all good things come from you, so we are grateful. We come together tonight to do what is wise and kind and just for all the members of our great community. We seek your wisdom and we seek to glorify you in our behavior. Thank you so much. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've got a real special guest here with us tonight, our own Congressman Pete Olson, who served District 22 for the state of Texas in Congress for 12 years. he and his wife Nancy and their family gave unselfishly to our community to represent us. I don't think, Pete, there's many people that know the sacrifices that it takes to be a congressman and to go every week up to Washington, D.C., in the Capitol, and work with some of those boneheads that you had to work with up there. So I just want to tell you from council, from our community, from our staff, from all the citizens in Sugar Land in the region, all those people that you represented, I want to thank you for your commitment to our community, for helping keep us in the forefront of protecting our citizens each and every day. And I want to thank you as a personal friend for all the work that you did. And I wish you and Nancy, I wish Nancy could have been with you tonight. I got a chance to see her the other night. She and your family made some real sacrifices too. So, Pete, we're here to honor you tonight. And we have this proclamation. If you'd come up, please. And then when I get finished, I think you've got a few words that you'd like to say. It's a proclamation from the Office of the Mayor celebrating Representative Pete Olson's service in the United States House of Representatives. Whereas Pete Olson graduated from Rice University in 1985, couldn't get into the University of Houston, received his law degree from the University of Texas, couldn't get into the University of Houston, School of Law in Austin, Texas, and in July 1988, on the day he completed the Texas bar examination, Pete took the oath of office for service in the United States Navy. And whereas career highlights include Aviation Officer Candidate School in 1989, trained to fly the P-3C Orion in 1991, flew missions over the Persian Gulf after Operation Desert Storm, and transferred to serve on the Joint Chiefs of Staff in 1994, assigned as Naval Liaison Officer to the U.S. Senate in 1995, served as an aide to Texas Senator Phil Gramm in 1998, and Chief of Staff for Senator John Cornyn in 2001, and sworn in and to represent the 22nd District of Texas in 2009. And whereas in his second term in Congress, Pete was appointed by Republican leadership to serve on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, the oldest standing legislative committee in the United States House of Representatives. And upon re-election for a sixth term in the 116th Congress, Pete remains on the Energy and Commerce Committee, sat on the Energy Subcommittee and the Communications and Technology Subcommittee, was reappointed to serve on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee, and stepped down for Representative Mike Garcia to fill his role. And Pete sat on the Space and Aeronautics Subcommittee and also served as a member of the House Republican Whip Team. And whereas Pete Olson was co-chair of the Congressional Artificial Intelligence Caucus, the Victims' Rights Caucus, Corrosion Prevention Caucus, and the Moldova Caucus, and previously served on the House Transportation and Infrastructure and Homeland Security Committees. Pete, we want to recognize you with this proclamation, but more than that, we want to recognize your sacrifice and your service. Literally, since you got your college degrees, you've been serving the people of the United States of America, as well as the people of Sugar Land. So with that, we commend you. We honor you tonight with this proclamation, and the floor is yours, Congressman.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, City Council, Mayor Zimmerman. A great honor. I'll cherish this for all my life. What makes this town so special is we are one big family. And families tend to have some fun, right?
Oh, this is not going to be good.
I'm going to have some fun right now. As the mayor mentioned himself, this past Friday, I was punked, P-U-N-K, punked, by our Chamber of Commerce. Went to an event, was just going there to Subway volunteers. Guess whose face popped up on the TV? My face. This man was part of the punking. He gave me, we've been going...
Uh-oh.
His contribution to the pumpkin.
My best kiss is perfect.
He gave me this picture of him like Gene Simmons and his wife at the concert on, September 26th of 2016.
I forgot all about it, Pete.
I haven't. Now, this is not classified information, but it's highly critical. People in Sugar Land, don't spread this, okay? But I've been briefed at the highest levels about a possible identity swap right here among our city council.
God, it's gonna be bad, I can tell.
There's rumors that before that concert, our mayor and Gene Simmons switched. So possibly for the last 3 years, Gene is here running our city, and Joe is rocking with Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss all around the world. This is my evidence, my friends.
You knew my musical ability, you would know that I was not rocking with Kiss. I promise you.
But look at these pictures,
that's
Mary.
pretty-
Look at the picture, okay?
No, that's, yeah.
This man is staring. This man has his hands all over your wife. Who is this man with his hands? That is Joe Zimmerman, for sure. He's been rocking with Kiss now, possibly. One final bit of fun before we get serious. Also brief that there's a gang element here. An odd gang run by a city council member, elected last cycle. Rashad Kamali.
No, it's a shot, yeah.
He was elected last cycle. He was too.
Apparently has some sway with some people. They get tattoos to help out his campaign.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There we go. Be sure we get that
Now,
out.
if you look close at those hands, they may look
Like yours.
like mine. All I can say is I can neither confirm nor deny that those are my hands. But my friends, there's a cult here, tattoos on hands for elections for Nishad. But now it's time to get serious. Joe, City Council, thank you, thank you, thank you. We moved back here, as things come off, in the summer of 2007. My wife had never lived near here. LA, Duke University, up there in Tyler. Wanted to go live in Clear Lake. God said, live here in Sugar Land. And he was right. Now, Joe mentioned it's a hard job, just like y'all's. All the travel, back and forth, the bitterness that's gone on, that's developed. But we never got to come here because our kids grew up here. The greatest gift they can have is grow up here with your leadership. The most diverse city, the most diverse county in the entire country, the entire world. And that is a great strength. Also, the most educated city in Texas. Highest number of at least a graduate level education, some sort beyond high school. Also, was the wealthiest county per capita in Texas. Fort Bend County. What's the biggest city in Fort Bend? Sugar Land, Texas. And my dear friends, we've worked together very closely to make sure this city thrives. A few examples. Got a surprise. We bought these new EMS vehicles, the best ones in the entire world. Hold on. There's a moratorium on Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud throughout the region. There can be no new vehicles serving the public, even though we own these vehicles. Our fire department. I know there's been fraud, but that's private sector. What? We can't get reimbursed for Medicaid, Medicare rides? That's what these vehicles mostly do. Senior citizens or people who don't have the means to take care of themselves, get themselves to a hospital. Oh boy, that's a big chunk of revenue that's not going to happen. These vehicles meant to be viable. And we fought together and found a little bill, a bigger bill, slipped in a little provision that says if it's a city, a government, that is not subject to all this fraud. And guess what? Those great vehicles are running all over Sugar Land right now. What happened? Was it good for us? Heck yes. Response times went down, but how about Fort Bend County? Their response times have gone down. Now, I'm not in Congress now, but here's the next challenge. Talking with one of the city folk today, one of you guys, apparently, in Austin, there's some effort to, well, if you rose your taxes and they took them back down quickly, you were doing something to higher property taxes. Well, with these ambulances, we did that to trade the guys and get the vehicles. A one-time blow-up. And I guess some clowns up there, and I could say clowns in Austin, have said Sugar Land may have broken the law or may have gotten around what we're trying to do. So talk to JC, talk to Joan Huffman, talk to Lois Concourse, talk to probably Phil Stevenson, but get people going, making sure if there's some attack, leave us out of that mess. Because we did things by the book, as we always, always do. And so I just want to talk about Hurricane Harvey, too. It's hard to say you're proud of a hurricane wiping out your hometown, wiped out most of Southeast Texas, parts of Louisiana. But I was damn proud to be from Sugar Land when that hurricane hit. In the aftermath. I saw people who didn't care how much money you had in your bank account, where at the church, where you lived, rich, poor, black, white, green, yellow, orange, purple, red. You came together. I saw Hindus helping Christians, helping Jews, helping blacks, helping whites, helping Hispanics, helping Asians. It didn't matter. Our people walked through floodwaters, pulled canoes full of food to a local church, a local school, went harm's way to get people out of the water, out of danger. I take great pride in that in D.C. because lots of states don't act like that. Something happens, they don't react. They say, the reaction is, help me! Somebody! Washington! Austin! Not Sugar Land, Texas. If we need help, we'll ask. If not, leave us alone. And so this is not going to be a filibuster. I could go on and on and on. 7 years ago. But again, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are blessed to be here because of you people, the City Council, the people of Sugar Land, that have given us such happiness, prosperity, and joy in our lives. And one thing I guarantee you, when God calls me home, He's going to call me home from right here in Sugar Land, Texas. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a great honor. Watch out for the cult, and watch out for Gene Simmons.
Thank you, Pete. Roman, council, if y'all come down off the dais.
Thank you.
I didn't forget about that. I got that picture. Didn't know he was going to bring it up.
That bear got to be pretty good. We pumped it. Are you looking great? Right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carter.
There's one. That's funny.
Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, moving on to item number 2. Public comment. Thomas, do we have anybody?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor, we don't have anybody signed up.
All right, perfect. Moving on to item number 3, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine business, unless the council member wants to pull one, at which time we'll have a presentation, brief presentation. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Jacobson. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second by Kamali. Vote this time, please. And it passes 7-0. Thank you, council members. Item number 4. Contracts and agreements. 4A, consideration of an action on authorization of a contract with J. Rivas Construction, LLC, sidewalk and trail rehabilitation. Eric Oscarson, our Assistant Director of Public Works. Eric, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we're bringing forward to you walk and trail rehabilitation throughout some quick background, and then we'll move on. The city maintains those sidewalks vary in width from over 12 feet in width, $125 million. Failures within our system, and we receive service all 850 miles in the street department, spending all 850 miles sidewalk system. And almost 10,800 sidewalks into 3 categories. Category 2 inches. We have category 2, anything smaller than 1 inch. As you can see by the map, we have significant. Next slide, please. To identify defects, be over 950 pending. So just a reminder, city staff do replace 200 service requests annually. Fixed sidewalks is through a third-party contract. Next slide, please. You were presented the citizen satisfaction survey. Street, sidewalks, and infrastructure is the highest on the list. Also at that meeting, 625 fiscal year 21 sidewalk repairs. Just so you get an idea what that represents, approximately about $2,000 per address to do this. We do have a significant backlog. We started the year with 950. 100. We'll estimate that the contractor will end the year with a backlog of about 400. We receive about for sidewalk repairs annually. So there is an anticipation that FY22 with about 1,100. Next slide, please. Take care of these problems. We do to get contractors to unit price contract to get the lowest unit price for those quantities, and so that we can put it in. The contract goes for renewal for 4 additional years. The contract back with the same contractor with the same bids. And depending on the contract for that amount. 2020 is on November 5th, and we received 6 bids. Next slide. Bids we received, 50,000 to 540,000. And again, this was a contract. So even though this is the rate at which we will issue the contract for the full. So J. Rivas, time working with J. Rivas. They're a new contractor for us. We checked their references. They work with the city. The budget for this contract is $625,000, and it's located in the rehabilitation fund. We'll give them a notice of. We anticipate beginning construction in March. Next slide, please. Public Works Department recommends that City Council authorize the execution of a contract, which I'll see in the amount of for sidewalk and trail rehabilitation.
Question.
Eric, their bid came in at, I think, $348,000, but the amount we're approving is $625,000. Does the $348,000 take in those 600 repairs, or I'm a little confused because the budget and what was proposed from them?
So what happens is when we put together these types of contracts, we put together estimates of how much work we anticipate, 1,000 square feet of sidewalk, and the contractors bid a unit price per square foot. And that's how we determine the lowest responsive bidder. And so we issue the contract for the full $625,000, and we will use that unit price. So their price came in at, say, $5.50 a square foot for sidewalk removal. We will utilize all $625,000 based on the unit price, and we can split the funds we have available.
Anyone else?
Mayor.
William?
Eric, thank you for the presentation. I am curious, so I can go back and tell the world how excited I am about this, because everybody talks about sidewalks. In your estimation, or best guesstimation, maybe a better way of saying it, every repair comes in, I'm assuming approximately around 10 to 20 feet, I would guess. I'm not quite sure except what I've seen. How many of these deficiencies, going back to Councilman Kamali's question, how many could we anticipate getting cleaned up? Just an approximate so I can kind of brag about it a little.
So we anticipate, it's the repairs average per home. The repairs actually average close to 200 linear feet, or 100 linear feet, I apologize, about 100 linear feet per location. So when we go to a home and we see one trip hazard, we don't just take care of one trip hazard, we take care of all the issues at that home so we don't have to return to that home.
Okay.
So on average, we average approximately 100 linear feet of repairs per home. So we anticipate being able to handle about 300 service requests with the 625,000.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, yeah.
Carol?
Just a quick question, Eric. About how long has Jay Rivas been in business in this area? Oops, I think you're muted.
I will let Jay Lira from Jay Reeves Construction answer that question. Jay? Hopefully he'll turn on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you repeat that?
I was just curious about how long have you all been in business in this business?
So we've been in business, myself, I've been in the business for 20 years, and the owner of the company has been in business for 25 years, doing all kinds of repairs through the Houston area, Galveston, Fort Bend County. So we've been working on, let's say, City West University. We worked on Sugarland before. With different companies, now with this new company. This new company has been in business for 5 years, but I was working with Metro City Construction before for almost 10 years. And then 5 years after that with REC Industry, which is some of the big companies that do a lot of point repairs all over Houston in a lot of different municipalities. We do have about 20 people in the company, but we have the capability of getting subcontractors to see if in just in case that we need to increase the production or we need to do more repairs.
Got a motion by McCutcheon. Do I have a second? Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Eric, it seems like with the statistics, we're getting behind by about 200 requests a year. What kind of budget is it going to take to get this to stop growing and stabilize? 950, and then we get 1,100 by the end of the year. Just curious. I know with COVID and a lot of our sales tax, this is an amazing amount of money. I'm not trying to get more money. What is a ballpark if we can get steady state here so that with 850 miles, there's always going to be some, but we don't want to get way behind, I don't think, like we did before.
So staff's worked through some numbers of a 15-year catch-up plan, and it would need to exceed over $1 million a year for us to, level the playing, to flatten the curve, right? It's a term we've used frequently, to flatten the curve and then to catch up. We need over $1 million with contracted money plus city staff. And that's something that we continue to work on, and as we identify new, deficiencies in the system, we continuously revise that model. So, but that latest model is over $1 million a year.
Okay, thank you. That'll give us some idea of where we're going here. Thanks for getting the 600. That'll be a great help to a lot of people, but we've got to do more eventually. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Got a motion by McCutcheon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Kamali. Vote this time, please. And it passes. Number 5, ordinances and resolutions. 5A, first and final consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2222, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, calling an election for Saturday, May 1st, 2021, to elect a council member to single-member District 1, 2, 3, and 4, providing for early voting and for notice of the election, and providers relating to the election, Natalie Serrano, Deputy City Secretary.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, good evening.
Go ahead, Thomas. Good evening.
For first-time presenters, we do a quick introduction. So I'd like to introduce and that's Miss Natalie Serrano, 15. And she started in purchasing, worked her way as the admin manager and the agenda coordinator, and she has been promoted to Deputy City Secretary. It's proof that there is a lot of hidden talent here in our, we can promote within college, as well as a bachelor's degree from, and she is presently in to receive her Texas Registered Municipal Clerk certification. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your time. I will now hand it over to.
Thank you, Thomas. The item before you is number 2220. Calling election 2021. Just going to go over some of the details of the first item is order of positions on the ballot. Single member 3 and 4. We are currently in the middle of accepting applications for a Plan 12 5 p.m. deadline. Establishes joint election between us and Fort Bend County, the Fort Bend County Elections Administrator. And lastly, for early voting, entities that are holding an electrified early voting location. The voting period runs from Monday, April 19th through Tuesday, April. The voting will occur on Saturday, April 24th, from 8 to 5 sites being open on this day. Of these 25 city limits, and which is the former Clyde and Nancy Jacks Conference Center, Greatwood Community and Rec Center, Career and Technical Center, Lost Creek Park, and Sugarland City. Today, at this time, their identified joint elections are located within the Sugarland City. Could change as the filing on February 12th and candidates, so there could be the possibility district. Reminder: the city participates in Fort Bend County in the polling place program. The ability to go to any of the polling locations within Fort Bend County and cast an applicable the election and the oath of. And per the election, we have between 3 and 11 to canvass and conduct. And during this time, there is a short period for provisional ballot board meet to review from outside of the U.S. and from between May 4th. Currently, the date to canvass and swear in electors. At the time of canvassing the election, if necessary, a runoff election as well. In which early votes take place between June 1st and June 8th, and the voting locations will be used specific to whichever districts are in the runoff. The intent that we would canvass the runoff, the oath of office, is June 5th. The next steps would be to approve on first and final consideration, calling election 21 for districts 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to continue to work with Fort Bend County to execute the contract for election services, on the city bulletin board, the city website, and published in the newspaper according to the. And with that, Thomas and I would.
Questions? Anyone? Motion to approve. Okay. Got a second by Lane. Your vote this time, please. And it's a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Closed executive session. 6A. Closed executive session is authorized by Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with Section 55107 public officers. This time, we're going to recess. We're going to adjourn into executive session. Thank you.